Brodes Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Well, Jamie Drysdale made an impact in his Flyers debut, walking the blue line on the power play, shiftiness with his skating ability. That pass to Morgan Frost in overtime was electric. If they could have finished there, and that would have been 2 for Frosty, because that power play goal, as much as we are enamored with the pass from Drysdale, which wasn't anything amazing, and he even said that, like, I didn't even do anything. It was all Frosty hesitating with the lane, nice, beautiful, rips it, glove side, bang. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it is a big deal, dude. You don't realize what we've seen out of this power play. We haven't had anybody who was able to even do that. So, dude, it's a big deal. Our power play sucked. And your skating ability, it makes my eyes water because I'm in love. I'm in love. You can tell that he has something that nobody on this team has with your decor. And I know Travis Sanheim has been magnificent based off of where we thought he was and the trajectory of that contract and how awful it was. It's been good, and I want to give him his credit and all. But when he flies, Drysdale, that is, it's different. It looks different. It feels different, and there's some pop to it, man. I was looking for a few things heading into this. I wanted to see the skating ability, which is obviously just going to happen. Jump up in the play, push that pace, and be a threat. And it cracks me up. Me and Martinez, if you didn't see that episode, by the way, of breaking down what happened with Cutter Gauthier, he brought this up, and it's excellent. We were joking around about it. That dude, John Tortorella goes, I ain't worried about the defense, okay? We'll focus on the defense after we get him in here, and I'll teach him that. But go, 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 go. Dude, are you serious? I'd be having an orgasm if I heard that in a trade. If I'm getting traded from Anaheim to Philly and Torch is my head coach, and that's the first thing I hear, I am making all sorts of things leave my body, if you know what I'm saying. Like, dude, come on, man. So let's see it. And I wanted to see him get pucks through from the blue line. He does a great job of that. He's at the blue, even 5-on-5, I'm saying, not just with a man advantage. But let's say it's 5-on-5, it's even strength. He's at the blue, he walks the line, and he just puts on a wrister. He finds the net with it, man, and he'll join the rush, and just so many good things. I'm super excited for him, and he obviously has the entire city behind his back because of the circumstances that led him here, which is amazing. And I actually have an audio clip. I have 2 audio clips for you, which is pretty rare. I normally just hit the start button and ramble for 30 minutes. So I'm even going to do a little homework here and set things up pre-show. Listen, sometimes I could be a professional. Now, remember, I said sometimes. So here's Jamie Drysdale on what it was like when he got traded here, the environment and all that good stuff, right? Because remember, the circumstances for him to get here, rare. This is a big story around the hockey world. Frank Saravalli, Elliot Friedman, everybody else up at TSN, the O-Dog from Overdrive. If you listen to anything TSN does and their TSN Sports Radio, I don't know why you would. I can't imagine many people in this area is popping on Toronto Sports Radio up in Canada. But I'm just saying, guys are not happy, and it seems like there's a lot around the hockey world where, fine, if that's your decision, Cutter, and you really feel I don't want to play for that organization, which never happens, by the way, not for the Fly guys, okay? Maybe if it's Anaheim, ironically enough. Maybe if it's San Jose. Maybe if it's Columbus. But if it was a Detroit Red Wings logo, a Boston Bruins logo, a New York Rangers logo, a Montreal Canadiens logo, and I get it, right? Original Six. The Flyers are up there with magnitude. Does that even make sense? No idea. I have no idea. But the point stands that it's real to see the Flyers logo and what they mean to the sport of hockey. And for you to go, fuck you, fuck you. Well, fuck you. Unbelievable. So even if you don't want to be here, at least have the decency to sit down and explain yourself. So now it comes out. Right now we've heard from him. He was on some sort of podcast that he wanted to keep this private with him and his family and his agent. It's between them. Well, guess what? You're going to get speculation at that point. And basically what you're admitting, because you don't have a real reason, is it strictly was you just didn't want to be here. And fine, you are obligated, or excuse me, you're not obligated to play. Well, that is the point of the draft and all, but there is a way out. You can use this method if you want. It's there. I don't agree with it, but if you wanted to play this card, it is available for you to do it, and you have the right to do it. Just like I have the right to rip you apart for your decision. Now, obviously, there are idiots and morons and stupid people, horrible people, evil people that are crossing the line here and sending threats to Kevin Hayes and sending threats to, I guess, Cutter Gauthier as well. Come on, people. Like, you cannot enjoy what he's doing from a hockey player perspective, and you can call him soft and not able to handle John Tortorella's toughness as a coach and say anything you want to say about him, the hockey player, because that's part of the job. When you are a professional athlete, people are going to have opinions about you. Just like that's how I handle this job. Guess what? Do you know how many people say I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, Okay, fine. You don't have to like what I say. You don't like this. You don't have to like the way that I say it. You don't have to like my show. I can't even get it out because I can't imagine there's people out there who actually feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's part of this job. And I know that heading into it. So you can't get your feelings hurt because someone like me may say, well, I think that's crazy. Part of it. You can't go overboard, and you're an asshole if you are. And I just want to make that very clear that there is a big separation between the standard, I'm going to have a sports opinion about you, and then where we're getting death threats and taking shots at the Kevin Hayes family and all that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and we can't reach that point, obviously. So anyway, transitioning back to the audio cut of Jamie's Drysdale. You see why sometimes it's difficult for me to do audio cuts? I completely just glossed over what I wanted to do. And I guess the second cut has to do with that too because it's Tortsy. But let's get to Drysdale and how it's going to be phenomenal for him, for the fan base and him to connect and have an awesome relationship due to the circumstances. But take a listen to how he felt after this one.
Jamie Drysdale, first game. Not a bad night, Jamie. That was an exciting game, and you obviously got a lot of ice time. How did it feel out there?
Felt unbelievable. I think from the second I got on the ice, kind of seeing the crowd, and it was just pretty unbelievable environment and really fun spot to play in. So it was a hell of a game, a hell of a first game to be a part of, and just glad we came out on top.
Yeah, welcome to Philadelphia, man. Love seeing you in the orange and black. And on the power play, you get your first point as a Flyer. How important was that to have some success early on that power play for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels nice to get on the board early, but that was all Frosty. I just kind of walked to the middle and made an easy pass, and he did a great finish there. So kudos to him.
What has it been like the last 48 hours? I mean, you're headed on a road trip with the Ducks going south. Now you're going to be headed on a road trip going north with the Flyers. I mean, everything changing around your life. Have you had a moment to take a deep breath and take it all in?
Very minimal, but I think, honestly, that's exactly what I needed. I think, like you said, it was a pretty wild last 24, 48 hours, so I'm just glad I got to get right into it and, not think too much, just go out and play, because that's kind of where you think about everything the least when you're on the ice. So, it's nice to get in the game and nice to get a win under our belt.
Yeah, we saw your mom and dad a couple times during the broadcast, how anxious your mom was. You had a few chances there in overtime to score. Just take us through that overtime and, the time with your parents here before the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first of all, it's awesome to have them out here. I think it kind of shows what a good organization this is. Right when I got out here, they asked me if I wanted my parents out for my first game, and obviously I said yes. So my parents are thrilled to be out here, and really happy they could be here. And in terms of that overtime, nice to get out there. It would have been nice to finish one of those opportunities, but in saying that, we got the win at the end of the day. So it's a good job for this team.
A good organization! Oh, it sounds like a good organization! I I heard good organization. I heard an organization that was willing to pick up the phone and go, yo, dude, we're thrilled to have you. We're stoked to have you. What's your mother and father's name? Well, what's their phone numbers? Let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's get them here at the Wells Fargo Center to see your debut. It's almost like they're a first-class organization in the hockey world, I should say, that would be fun to play for. Like a first-class organization. Just saying, Cutter. Just saying, you're missing out, man. Oh, he's playing in Anaheim, but they're going to get rid of Zegras, and they're going to all fall apart. Oh, but they have so many high-skill forwards coming up. Stop it. It's Anaheim. Nobody gives a damn about Anaheim. If you're going to be anything in this league, you want the moment. You want the spotlight. You want the big city. You want to play on the East Coast. I can't believe he's really shoving the double bird in the face of the franchise. And I can't wrap my head around some who are basically going with the narrative of, I can't just give the Flyers a free pass and think they did nothing wrong. That's what's happening here. We are in a bizarre world with this hockey stuff because it never happens in this sport to this level. No. And of course, when the new regime happens and they're finally starting to turn the page, and even the casual fans, they knew that there were two on the prospect list, Matvei Michkov and Cutter Gauthier, that was going to turn this puppy around. And now one guy's just demanding a trade, and he's not speaking at all. There has to be something behind the scenes. I don't think so, because there's no way that Danny Briere and Keith Jones would just make this up for their first get out in front of it moment. They had to stand in between the first and second period of a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins and answer questions about this and make statements about this. You're telling me that their objective, if there was more to this, was to just get out and rip and destroy the player publicly and annihilate him and say all those things? That's not their personality. And it tells you how good of a player he is, because they did go to Sweden to try and convince him to stay. Their motor was, I want Cutter Gauthier here. So it's no disrespect to Drysdale, who I think is going to be a fun watch and an enjoyable player, but it's obvious that it took Drysdale and a second-round pick, and they were doing everything in their power to try and convince him to change his ways. Now, he's going to be public enemy number one, and it will be fun to have a villain in this city. It's a shame that it's on a team and in the West Coast that you really don't see and you really don't care about, which is just hysterical that he's going to a franchise that is just a joke. And, it's like, who plays for the Anaheim Ducks, really? Okay, Getzlaff, fine, and Corey Perry had his time there, and I guess there was a netminder once that had, and then there's a guy, I guess, named Paul Correa, and I guess, there are some names out there that you could maybe filter in. But one of them's not going to be Cutter Gauthier, damn it, because with a mentality like that, you're a fraud. You're a fraud! But anyway, good win for the Flyers, man. Good win for the Flyers. How about Drysdale? It's pretty unbelievable, this environment, and a really fun spot to play. It was a hell of a first game to be a part of. He knew what he was doing. Oh, man, was he tickling everybody's feet and stomachs as he was walking through that? He knew exactly what he was doing. You know when you tickle a baby's stomach and then they smile and giggle and they're falling in love in the moment? That's what Jamie Drysdale was doing with all of his comments. But what a pro. Okay, that just defines the pro that he is. And he's probably stoked to get the hell out of there and come to a real city with a real hockey fan base. And, you walk out into the Wells Fargo Center and you see that for your home game and you hear that pop and they announce you and Lou Nolan goes, number 9! That sounds like a horrible Lou Nolan, but number 9, Jamie Drysdale! Wow! Wow! It's unreal. And they were showing a highlight package during that interview I just played. in the high slot, ripping a wrister, grade A scoring chance, a give and go along the half wall in the offensive zone between him and Sanheim, which led to Joel Farabee high in the slot, looked like an awesome chance to put one in the net. His play in the neutral zone, a hit along the wall. They were just good things that won't be the most sexiest in the world, but how about just good angles on an odd man rush that could break up a play, so when Montreal's skating down the ice, they're very limited. Instead of taking a shot on net from an angle, they go around the net and try and buy more time, but then your back check is already in the defensive zone and you're ready to be structured again. Just little things like that. Good poise and patience in the neutral zone as well, breaking up a play with his stick and then regrouping and then heading up ice again. Everything he does is really smooth, and I can see why there's a lot of upside there, and I can see why that a team is willing to make him eat 20-plus minutes and log in a bunch of time. So it was an awesome game, by the way. You go down 2-0 and 2 shots on net. Saying, what the hell is going on? There was a tip in front by Sean Monahan. The second one was a little goofier. You have a couple of forwards playing net front presence and trying to tie guys' sticks up. It didn't really pan out for them at all. And then you battle back, and you clearly were the better team all night long. You brought way more to them than they did to you. It looked like Owen Tippett hit 74 posts. He probably could have scored a bunch of goals. That burst he had at the end of the game to try and get a shot off, he was going full speed to the net. He ended up driving into the net, not getting one off. But, man, he was flying, and I mean flying. Travis Konechny hit the pipe. That could have been an easily 9-2 win. Really. You look at the shot total. Montreal's doing nothing. You dominated. That's why they needed to get those 2 points. They deserved to get those 2 points, and I'm glad they did because, yeah, they needed to. Okay, before we continue here, let me tell you about my friends over at HelloFresh. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinner time recipe rut. Keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive right at your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? HelloFresh is 25% less expensive than takeout. So that means you get easy home-cooked meals on the table and even more money back in your pocket. So go to HelloFresh.com/50Brodes and use code 50Brodes for 50% off plus free shipping. That's code 50Brodes for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. When I tell you HelloFresh changed my life, I mean it. Look, I obviously have a baby, a newborn. Me and my wife are super busy. It's hard for me to even come down here and get a chance to record a show. I'm changing diapers. She's spitting up. She's got to eat this and that. I got the dogs. It's a whole thing, right? Wouldn't change it for the world, by the way. But what I'm telling you is HelloFresh is cheaper, and it's so convenient. I don't have to go grocery shopping, so I eliminate that from my life. And their recipes are so good and so different because you always get stuck in, okay, tacos again, chicken again. You eat the same thing every single day. But when you see the options, like, wow, that sounds amazing. Shrimp and mushroom risotto, please. Pineapple barbecue flatbread, please. You name it, man. It's creative. It's different. I'm sure it's out of what you're normally accustomed to every week, which makes it amazing. Make sure you check it out. The link is down below in the description. Okay, let's get to the John Tortorella stuff. So John Tortorella freaked out at Anthony Sanfilippo about the Kevin Hayes report, and I want to make it clear on my stance on where Kevin Hayes and Cutter Gauthier thing is. There's already been an on-the-record spot where Cutter Gauthier said that he's been awesome for me, and we know that Kevin Hayes has the Boston College relationship, and in a previous regime, I think they utilized Kevin Hayes as sort of a spokesperson to reach out to some of the young guys and all that. I do believe in that. By the way, Anthony Sanfilippo is very tapped in. He breaks a lot of Flyer stories. He's not one of those guys that tries to create controversy. He's a really good journalist, and he's really good at what he does. Now, that doesn't mean he has a 1,000% hit rate by any means, because every once in a while something happens to really, really good reporters and really good journalists. And, you know, I don't side with him on this particular one, but I don't think he's wrong with his overall message. I think what happened was everyone was hot. Everyone was really confused. Everyone was in a really high emotional time during that time when the news broke. You traded Cutter Gauthier. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal to trade Cutter Gauthier, especially coming off of the World Juniors when he was balling out the way he was. It's a monster story in the hockey world. And we were running off 1,000. And I think maybe just the tone and delivery of it made it seem more intense than what it was. But it's not crazy to think that Cutter Gauthier and Kevin Hayes spoke at one point. Hey, what was your time like in Philly? It wasn't really the best for me. Wasn't my time. I didn't like it. I didn't have a lot of fun there. Whatever. He did it, and he probably did it. But to go to the point where you're not playing for the organization, not answering John LeClaire, Patrick Sharp, not giving any answers to any of the Flyers front office, there's nothing Kevin Hayes would have said to drill that into his head. This was the way he was going to handle this. Cutter Gauthier, that is. No matter if there was a discussion with Kevin Hayes or not. So did he share his personal experience? Yeah, probably. And was his personal experience great? No, it wasn't. I think he had all the right intentions when signing here. I think he wanted to be a part of this city, be a part of this culture, be a part of this turnaround, and have a really good career here. I think that was the intentions, and it didn't pan out. He probably made it that way. Like, it wasn't a good fit. It wasn't for me. Me and Torts didn't really get along that much, but there's a lot of guys who do. It was probably something along those lines, right? And that's fair to say. That's just being honest. That's a person being honest with another person. It's happened in my career, and I've heard plenty of hockey players give this opinion, but I'll share it as well. If I go back to my junior days, or if I go back to my college hockey days, if someone asked me, Brodes, what was your college hockey experience like? I'd say I struggled to get in the lineup. I did have some difficulty there towards my end of my sophomore year, but I loved playing for Dawes. Dawes was my coach. He was my favorite coach I think I've had, and I barely played, which is weird, right? I played 8 games my freshman year. I barely played my sophomore year, and it's like I didn't have a great playing experience there at all, and it got frustrating, and I got depressed because I wasn't playing as much, and it put me in a weird headspace. I didn't like it. That's me being honest. And if you ask me about my junior days, my last coach was an absolute dick. He was an ass, and there's no way that I would tell anybody anything else other than that. He was a joke, a terrible human being. But that's just my experience with it, and it is what it is. But anyway, my point is, there's no way, because of the strong stance, he's clearly getting information and more info from his camp, his real camp, not some ex-former Flyer, but his real camp and his agent and his family. Poor information, may I add, but that's where a lot of this noise is coming from that's driving him to be a horrible professional athlete from a let's handle things like a normal human side of it, if that all makes sense. Well, it made sense to me, and that's the moral of the story. So, okay, let's hear John Tortorella, and this just describes to you, even though I don't know if I necessarily love it, I'm biased, okay? I'm biased, obviously, as a media member. I know Tort sometimes bangs his head against the media and says things that I don't agree with, but this just defines why people love to play for Torts. And the narrative that John Tortorella is a horrible coach, an old school coach that doesn't work in this game, the players know that he has their back and he has the right intention when he goes to work. He wants to get the best out of you. He may take certain routes and play a psychological game, and all of this is 1,000% thought out. He's doing this in my eyes. So Jamie Drysdale, excuse me, who just got here, sees the relationship that he makes with his players. I truly believe, because everything's thought out. Everything that he does is planned and it has a purpose. John Tortorella, I believe, did this so Drysdale could, and because I think he truly feels bad for what Kevin Hayes is going through right now, too. I don't want to remove that from the top of the list. Everything that Kevin Hayes has gone through off the ice is very tragic, very sad, very hard to go through, very, very, very difficult. I think it starts there. Let me be clear. That's number one. But number two is, yo, Jamie, this is what it's like, man. Like, I have your back. Once you put on that uniform for me, I don't care if we see differences. I don't care if we don't agree. I don't care if we have our bickering back and forth in a meeting in my room. I don't care. I got your back. And here's what John Tortorella said to Sanfilippo.
Is the guy here, the guy here that caused Kevin Hayes a problem?
Yes.
You?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You think Kevin Hayes is going to do something like that?
Any last questions?
Person letting the first two buy him.
It pisses me off that you guys throw that around and affect someone's life. You know, Kevin Hayes and I had a problem. We couldn't come to an agreement how to play. That's a good man. That's a good man. And what you said is going to stay with him. That's what you guys don't understand. You say something, and you're going to sit there and say you have the right sources. I call. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love the go ahead to the next person asking the question. Okay. Where I stand on this right now, I love Ant to death. I think maybe just the heat of the moment, everyone was on 1,000, everyone was rolling with adrenaline and all that. And it's like, yeah, Kevin Hayes had his hands all over this. And go back and listen to my reaction pod. We were all in a headspace that was crazy. I think the delivery of it made it go a little farther and a little extreme than the idea was behind the statement. There's nothing wrong with saying he probably discussed some things with Kevin Hayes. Is it enough to influence him to take this path? No. And that's probably where it stands, but it got blown out of proportions because emotions were high. And that's sort of how I see this, and it'll probably blow over. Nobody deserves death threats, okay? It's sports. I know we care, and I know I even lose my mind sometimes and all, and it's entertainment, and we have fun, and we talk on the podcast, and we take calls, and people are angry and all that. But death threats, what are we doing, people? You got to be able to find that line, okay? Now, finding the line's easy on TickPick because there's nowhere else to go other than TickPick. Does that make sense? Once again, no clue. You're the ones listening to this crap. Our ticket prices will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. That's what TickPick tells you. They're so confident about it, they guarantee it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you get 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. And there's also upfront pricing. So no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price than on other sites, because the price you see on TickPick is the price you pay at checkout, period, end of story. There's no added service fees, hidden fees, or otherwise. So why don't you check out John Tortorella live at the Wells Fargo Center? Why don't you see Drysdale live at the Wells Fargo Center and his skating ability? Get your family to a game. How about Joel Embiid at the center, man? It'll be fantastic. So get your family, yourself, your loved ones to the Wells Fargo Center. Click the link down below in the description. My code is activated with that link, and get yourself to a game today. Let's take a few calls here on last night's game, shall we? Let's do it. Let's play. No? Going once? Going twice?
Hey, Brodes, calling from Canada, loving that the Flyers just beat the Habs. But I gotta say, I hate the fucking shootout. Can they do something else? I love watching this team play. There are a bunch of little motherfuckers out there. You don't want to play against this team. We might not have the star power, but we got the will. And it's fun to watch. And as long as they keep playing like this, I'll keep watching and rooting. Go Flyers.
Absolutely, man. They play the right way. They play the right way. They're creating storylines. By the way, keep this in mind. The Eagles are playing a playoff game this week. This is a playoff Eagles week, and we got storylines from the orange and black. We got people tuning into this team because they want to see what Jamie Drysdale is all about. And if you're not in love with the way he skates, then I think you're on crack. He's clearly the smoothest skater we've seen in a long-ass time, man. And he's super young. He's got a long way ahead of him. Seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's pumped to be in this organization. Man, flying out the family. Classy, Jonesy and Briere. Classy, right? They know what they're doing. They're changing everything. You want to put this logo on. You want to be in this city. You're changing the brand. You're changing the identity. You're getting back to what Flyers hockey is supposed to be about. It is a family. As much as we hate the old school 70s popcorn, why is it always got to be the old old Flyers hockey stuff. Sometimes I thought that was getting in the way of a transition, but now they got a good mix because they're not stuck in their old ways with certain players, right? I know they got a fourth line that might be a little muck it up and all, but you're in love with Farabee and Bobby Brinks and this new style, this new wave. Drysdale, offensive defenseman, get up in the ice, go, 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 go. Your head coach is stressing, get the hell up the ice. Push, 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 push. That's the name of the game, man. It's a track meet. It's back and forth, keep going, back and forth, but you're forechecking properly. You're structured in the defensive zone. They're playing the right way. I don't like the shootout either. It would have been extremely disappointing if your team dominated Montreal as much as they did, and then they only got 1 point out of it because Urson. But here's the thing. Urson in the shootout is unstoppable. So once we realized we were going to that shootout, bada bing, bada boom, wrap it up, throw 2 points to the fellas because you're going to get that. You're going to get that. But this team is extremely watchable. I had juice at 11:42 in the morning thinking of that game. I can't wait for their next game. I wish they played a back-to-back. I'm selfishly asking them to have no off days because I want to see more. That's what they've done to me.
Cutter Gauthier needs to humble himself. 18 years old, nobody is NHL ready. The only dude that's ever been fully NHL ready at 18 is Connor Bedard, and that is so rare. And we knew what he was doing beforehand, and he did not ghost the fucking Blackhawks. I'm more than happy to get Jamie Drysdale, a proven 21-year-old NHL player, than some little fucking scumbag.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like how Cutter Gauthier did this, and I would just imagine, as someone who grew up wanting to play in the NHL my entire life, as all of us ex-hockey players do, right? And only a certain percentage get to live out the dream, and God bless them. I'd do anything in the world to know what it feels like to be Connor McDavid, and you can just step on the ice and know you're in the lineup every single day and just skate around, buzz around, stick handle, shoot, snipe, pass, assist, power play, you name it, and you're just in all the high leverage spots. I couldn't imagine what that feels like. But the dream would be a franchise and their fan base wants me there so bad. And they visualize changing the entire fan base and changing the entire city and being the face of it. Billboards and press conferences, and everybody's in your face because you're changing the landscape. Isn't that the dream? Nobody, with all due respect, seriously, I mean this. Nobody wakes up and goes, I want to be Delorier. Look, no one goes, I want to be a fourth-line wing. I want to be a fourth-line center. I want to be someone who has to drop the mitts, and that's the way I get to play every day. Very rare. Maybe there's a few, very rare. No shots, by the way. I would love to have that career now, looking back, obviously. But I'm just saying, I'm sure when Delorier dreamt of playing in the NHL, he would want to be a top 5 pick, Cutter Gauthier, a Connor Bedard, a Connor McDavid. That's where the eyes go. And then you have to realize, to make a living in this league, I have to be a fourth-line player. Things like that. Then you adapt. Then you adjust. Then you recognize how you're going to work and what fits best for you and the team and all of it. There's a lot into it. But that, you had it, man. That's what it is. It's to be the name that casuals know. Be the name that even non-casual Flyers fans knew the name Cutter Gauthier, and he didn't want the spotlight. That's crazy to me.
Ugly start to that game with the, giving up 2 goals on 2 shots in the first, but man, I am so happy that we got Jamie Drysdale in the orange and black. And I called earlier in the year complaining about Sam Ersson. This guy is a changed man. He's been a changed man. And honestly, I think he's a top-tier shootout goalie that I've seen on the Flyers in my lifetime. They've always struggled in shootouts, but this guy knows how to get the job done. Great team win to come back down from 2-0 on 2 weak goals. Super happy to see it.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. I think he just needed time. I think that's what it came down to. He needed a little bit of time, and he needed to feel out some pucks. He got thrown into the fire early. I don't know if he was ready. He might be a goalie where every year he might struggle his first 3, 4, 5 starts, and then by start 10, he's rocking, man. He's in his mode. He's locked in. He's being sensational. That might be where we are with Ersson. He's good. He's good. He's good. You got so many good goalies with this franchise right now. It's a very uncomfortable position to be it. And it blows my mind because I don't know what that's like, right? Like, we don't know what the hell that's like. It's crazy. All right, everybody. I love you guys to death. Those are my thoughts. We'll be talking soon. I promise you. I'll see you on the next one.